So we kind of talked about in the last video what sustainable success looks like. And in this video, we're talking more about how to spot those people that don't have that all-win mindset. I'm Jana Henneman, and today we're on part 2 of this 3-part video series where we're talking about sustainable success. Remember, it has to be right for you, right for me, right for us, and right for all. So when do you fire employees, clients, and partners that aren't playing by this model? Firing someone that doesn't play all-win isn't always easy, but sometimes it's necessary for the benefit of your business. Here's how to tell when they are not a good fit. 1, they violate core values. If someone is consistently acting against the principles that your business stands for, keeping them on board is only going to erode morale and trust. For example, I had to fire clients in the past that did not uphold our core values. They also didn't respect my time and my boundaries. It only added stress, it affected my home life, and eventually I had enough of it. It wasn't easy firing them, but I eliminated that stress in my life and freed myself up to work with other people who did value and uphold our core values and valued my time and my boundaries. 2, they drain resources without results. Whether it's an employee that's underperforming, a partner who doesn't add value, or a client that's costing you more time for a lower price, it's time to let them go. For example, I've always thought of myself as a diplomat. I want to encourage and inspire leaders in my organization. But if they don't adhere to my KPIs or key performance indicators, it's been best for me to cut ties ASAP. And the good news is I'm freeing them up to be more successful somewhere else. If I don't, I myself or the business suffers. I have a mission and a vision, and I need to work with people that can uphold this. And if they can't, that's okay. It just means they're not a good fit. 3, they damage team dynamics. Toxic behavior or attitudes can destroy a productive environment. Protect your team by addressing these issues promptly. For example, I once had a couple of partnerships a long time ago in a business I had. And everything was fine until one partner became lazy. The other partners started noticing this person's lazy behavior, and instead of addressing it, they started approaching this person with passive-aggressive behavior. It didn't just lead to a lot of upset, but the whole business suffered as a whole. Not only did I lose the person that had the toxic, lazy behavior, but I also lost valuable partnerships with people who did play with an all-win attitude. Because not everyone was playing win-win, people started sabotaging each other. It eroded morale and trust, and the business suffered greatly for it. Number 4, there's no mutual growth. Relationships in business should be mutually beneficial. If you're giving more than you're getting, or vice versa, it's time for a candid conversation and potentially a clean break. Like in the previous example, the one person that became lazy was not playing by an all-win situation. They were not giving enough, and everyone else was giving 110%. And this eroded the morale, the trust, and again, the whole business suffered for it. Towards the end, people were more interested in sabotaging each other than they were about the business's growth. So how do you handle when someone is behaving or not making decisions that are best for all? How can you approach them without hurting egos and without creating a toxic environment? 1, be direct and respectful. Explain the reasons clearly and focus on the facts, not emotions. I like taking what I call the Aikido approach. Whenever I'm approaching someone who's maybe displaying some behaviors that aren't all win, I like to give them 2 behaviors that I like about them, and then very directly say, we need to focus on this. This helps kind of soften the blow a little bit, but it also addresses the issue that needs to be addressed. Number 2, you can always offer a path forward, if appropriate. Whenever there is a challenge or a problem with a specific person or in the business, I like to bring 2 other viable solutions to the table. If someone isn't receptive or is unwilling to move on their stance and play by an all-win scenario, it may be time to let them go. Again, free them up to be successful somewhere else. So how do you know when you're on the right path? How do you know that you're playing the great game of business with people who are playing with an all-win mindset? Well, here are a few things to look out for. The business is balanced. The decisions made align with your values. and doesn't feel like a betrayal of yourself and others. 2, everyone's heard and respected. Even if people don't agree, they understand the reasoning and value the input provided. After all, intelligence is being able to hold 2 or more different viewpoints in your mind and being able to analyze them before moving forward. And if everyone can do that on your team, awesome. Number 3, the ripple effect is positive. The decisions made benefits not only you and the business, but your business ecosystem, including partners, employees, and your clients. Number 4, you have clarity. There's little to no second guessing because the choices made, again, aligns with your values, your goals, and your vision. So how can you know for sure that the decisions you're making in your business are all win? Well, it's hard to know completely, but here are some tools you can use. 1, take a gut check. Ask yourself, does this feel right? If you feel a little bit of stress or unease, dig into the why you feel this way before moving forward. Number 2, stakeholder audit. Write down potentially everyone that would be affected by the decision and how it would impact them. Visualizing this often clarifies priorities. 3, long-term thinking. Ask yourself, will this decision make sense in a year or 2 or 5? If the answer is no, then reconsider. You might be falling into that short-term thinking. When in doubt, ask yourself the 2-question test. Especially when you have a decision to make and there's many different solutions. The first question is, which option creates the least harm? Number 2, which option keeps the most future opportunities alive? It can be hard to predict the outcome of a decision until you see exactly how it plays out. This is where scenario testing comes in handy. Imagine the best and worst case scenarios for each decision. Here are some other questions you can ask yourself if the 2-question test isn't quite hitting it on the nose. What happens when everything goes exactly as planned? What happens if this goes sideways or turns out completely wrong? Can I live with the worst case scenario? And is it worth the risk? Scenario testing provides you with a clear sense of whether or not your choice aligns with sustainable success or falls into the trap of short-term gains. And here's the thing, we talked about this in the first video. Not everyone operates by the same playbook. Not everyone is playing by the same rules of the game. Identifying these people or these behaviors before it's too late can save you a lot of time and unneeded drama. As we talked about in the first video, some people are focused solely on their gain. They might even try to screw people over in order to get ahead. What's worse is they might not even be aware of these broader implications. So here are some signs that you're not playing all win with other people. There could be misaligned values. If the parties involved don't share the same commitments and they're not aligned with fairness and collaboration, sustainable success becomes an uphill battle. Unrealistic expectations. When one party expects all the benefits without contributing, it's time to reassess the dynamic. Lack of transparency. If key information is withheld or misrepresented, trust will erode within your business, making all win nearly impossible. Short-term thinking. If the focus is only on immediate gains, it often sacrifices long-term stability. And again, we talked about this in the first video with my friend who had a business selling shoes, and they had hired an organization from another country that only sent them left-sided shoes. Yeah, that was very short-term thinking. In the future, my friend did not want to do business with them. Sure, they made a lot of money shorthand, but they missed out on millions of dollars over the long term with this particular business. The goal here is to minimize harm while protecting your core values and creates a path forward that doesn't leave you or your business compromised. When you recognize that an all-win scenario is not viable, it is essential to focus on minimizing harm and ensuring future decisions align more closely with sustainability. In summary, sustainable success is not about finding perfection. It's about knowing when to aim for an all-win scenario and being able to identify when it's not feasible or possible. By staying intentional and adaptable, you can navigate even the toughest decisions and keep moving forward. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to like, follow, subscribe, leave us a comment below. I'm Yana Henneman, And I will see you this time next week with the third part of this video series on sustainable success, creating results that are right for you, right for me, right for us, right for all. And remember to scan the code at the end of this video and sign up for our weekly free newsletter. No fluff, just the good stuff.